Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the workbench here at Scale Models Midwest. This is David. As always, thank you very much for coming back to the channel, checking out the videos. Of course, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification, all that cool stuff so this pops up according to the YouTube algorithm. Now that we got all that out of the way, just wanted to let you know that I, first of all, have to apologize. I was recording steps 3 through 7, putting together the chassis, mounting it onto the plate, and then I went to look back at the camera and I realized I forgot to hit record. So you're going to see the completed work, and kind of not a bad thing too, because I made some mistakes along the way and I want to show you exactly what they were, what I did to correct them, so that if you made the same mistakes, that you can correct them too. Or if you haven't yet built this kit, which is now available in the stores and especially at modelroundup.com, you can check it out. Let me set up the camera and show you what we're looking at. Okay, so first of all, the one thing I can definitely recommend above everything else is test fit, test fit, test fit. I started making some adjustments and then realized that, or so I thought, I needed to make some cuts. When I did, I realized that I was putting it together incorrectly. So I had to correct my mistakes, and then I'll show you why. First of all, test fitting the body to the chassis. So far everything is lining up perfectly. I put the window glass in just as a test fit to make sure that the roll cage was clearing. I put the roll cage top, this way cool looking thing, and everything's fitting. I also did what I saw some other people doing, and if you notice, I cut out the hole. There goes the hood. Cut out the holes for the exhaust. I want to show you something. Because of the measuring mistake, while it's not big now, it was big earlier. So the exhaust pipe, or the exhaust part from the header, comes very close to matching it. Not perfect, but close. Do I want to adjust it? Probably not. I'm still going to do a little bit of updating on the paint touch-up, but as you can see, the steps 3 through 7 did go together very well. You definitely want to have everything together before you put it on the black base plate, but definitely as you're putting this together, use the black base plate as a jig. Chris from HPI Guys, and I think even Luka Cee mentioned that there might be some of the chassis being warped because it is a fairly large piece, and that does have a tendency to warp. But when you get these little 6 pins in their place, and you can kind of clamp it down till it sets and dries, the warp disappears. Now, I had no such issue. My plate was not warped, but apparently my mind was when I started putting this together. If you notice here, on this side, I've got 2 tubes that I actually had to cut and put in place. I made them larger than I needed to, but this is where my first mistake happened. What happened was, as I was putting this together, I saw these little holes on both sides where they would fit into. And these did not fit into the locating pins. So I went on ahead and kind of measured and realized that, well, they may have been a little bit too wide. So I started to cut these off, and then when I put the chassis together on the jig, that I actually cut off stuff that I shouldn't have cut off. So after kind of walking away from the kit for a few minutes, went back there and I said, I can fix it. You can fix any mess up on a kit, period. So I did. Is it pretty? No. Does it work? Yeah. So what happened though was, in doing that, when I test fit, and again, as I said earlier, test fit, test fit, test fit, the front end, these 2 pins right here underneath the engine cradle, were not fitting. They were about a 1/16 of an inch off. And then I looked and I said, okay, I wonder why. On this particular part here, this very edge was not lined up, and you know, this is already glued together and I've already corrected it. it was off by about 1/16 of an inch. So again, measure and test fit before you commit to the cement. Even though I was using the Plastruct bonding, and I've got some Tamiya extra thin quick setting cement, it still ended up being off. And I didn't notice this until the next day when I went to check on it. So after kind of stewing about it for a couple minutes, I went on ahead and said, I can fix it, and I did. Ultimately, I got the engine in the cradle, I got the rack and pinion in place, lower control arm in place, and I have yet to put the instructions in according to step 12 and 13 and whatnot, but I'm not going to do that till the weekend, and I'll hopefully videotape that as long as I remember to hit the record button. But I did get other items in place. Wanted to point out a couple other quick items. This forward deck piece, as well as the rear deck piece, should be black, according to Jim Rogers with Salvinos JR. Also, some of the other guys have been building this kit and the other kits on their respective channels. They started out being white, but I guess the race teams were asking if they could, you know, color them black, paint them black, because of the white being, I don't know, reflecting too much light. So they're black. Going ahead and do that. Plus, sets up nice and neat once you're in there. Again, I've test fit a lot of this as I've been going along, just to make sure that the body fits, and it does. It's doing a great job. And I also want to mention that the issue I have sometimes with hoods, I have no issue with this one. This thing fits like a glove. So I like it, and I can't wait to continue building it. So going back to the interior, you see I got a little bit of paint detailing. I got the digital gauge cluster in place. I got the pedals in place. I got the steering rack, steering wheel in place. Hope it looks good for you guys. Like I said, I'm gonna do a little bit more touch up on the headers. I was kind of doing what Luka Cee did with his, and did a lot of thinner with clear yellow and clear blue Tamiya paint, and I'm just gonna kind of tinker with it a little bit more, but I'm not gonna get too crazy with it. But anyhow, ultimately, once everything was done, I lined it up and it fit perfectly. All 6 pins went into their respective slots. So I went on ahead and did my Plastruct bonding, clamped it down, held it down in place, and it is now solid. And as you can see, putting the kit on top of it, it's really coming along. It looks very good. I like it, and I hope you do too. But before I go, got a couple things to kind of show you on that one. I did do some of the sub-assemblies, and one of the things I'm going to be checking with the builders group, the comments have been made that the inner and outer rims do not connect with one another, and they seem to be falling out of the tires. Well, they are for me as well. So if you're out there and you've been building this kit, let me know what you did to keep the inner and outer wheels from falling out. Plastruct bonding is definitely not doing the trick. I do not want to use something that's going to eat these tires up, because this is real rubber, and it is a beautiful tire. I think darn near perfect. I still have to sand just a tad, but I don't want to mess up the tire. So if you've got an idea for something to keep that in place, let me know. As you can see, I did the racing seat. That is one fantastic racing seat, Jim. Great job putting this together. Almost looks a little bit like what Clay Kemp did for one of his videos when he was building a stalker. Get a chance, definitely check out Clay Kemp's video. He's got, I think, one video alone that focused on a racing seat, and other ones on just a dashboard, and other ones on just the engine. Great deal. I've got the transaxle with the drive shaft in place. I have the gas tank top. Did a little paint detailing also on the fuel filler. I have the electronics box, got that in there painted. And then of course the, I would assume, fire extinguishers. Okay. And then of course the drive shaft tunnel. So really that's all I've got so far on this one. Like I said, just a simple midweek update, just kind of showing you how that'll look when it's all done. Again, I'll work on steps 12 and 13 with the video because I don't have any pennies with me. There's a reason why you're going to use the pennies. You use that so you can set up the ride height and make sure you get all 4 wheels sitting square on the ground. So we'll do that on Saturday. But I got one more thing to show you. My second ever viewers model, and I think you're going to like this one and a little backstory behind it. Let me go ahead and set that up. We'll be right back. So tonight's viewers build comes from Larry Landis. Thanks, Larry, for sending me the pictures. I certainly appreciate it. This is an Airy 1/32 scale Mazda T2000 pickup. He built this as part of a small scale themed contest sponsored by the Central Pennsylvania Model Car Club. It's a very unique subject, something that really would only come from Japan. They put out some wild and crazy kits, some unique kits, and I like it. I plan on buying some kits, and who knows, if I see something unique like this, I might just buy it and pick it up myself. And that's what the hobby is about. If you see a kit that someone else is building and it inspires you to want to build something similar or something different, that's what it's all about. Go out there, buy it, build it, and show it off. Like Larry, if you'd like, send me some pictures and I'll post it on a future video. Larry, good luck at the contest this Saturday. And everybody else, and Larry, have a great rest of the week. We'll see you in the next video.